Why so serious? Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. My name is Talal, and welcome to Popcorn and Soda, the show where we discuss all things movies, pop culture, and so much more. As always, I want to thank each and every one of you for making me a small part of your day. Joker, Folie, et Deux. Or I believe that's how you pronounce it. But for the context of this review, we'll just refer to it as Joker 2, the latest film from director from the Hangover series, and of course, from the highly acclaimed first Joker, Todd Phillips, starring Joaquin Phoenix, and bringing on board Lady Gaga to play Harley Quinzel, or Lee Quinzel, as they state in the movie. Where do I begin with this review? So I had a chance to watch this movie yesterday, and it was an interesting experience. I'll start off with that. Let's rewind a little and give some more context. So Joker 1 is one of my all-time favorite comic movies. Dare I say it's one of my probably top 20 favorite movies ever. I just loved what they did with that first movie, and I just loved Joaquin Phoenix's performance as Arthur Fleck, who is playing this Elseworld version of Joker in the universe that he inhabits. And I loved everything about that movie. And that movie holds a very special place in my heart. A lot of you know that from my previous episodes that one of my greatest film memories or experiences ever was Joker 1, as I watched that originally at the Toronto International Film Festival about 5 years ago, and I waited 10 hours in a rush line to be one of the lucky few who was able to sneak in and watch the movie. And spoiler alert, I did get in. And I literally waited 10 hours sitting at the side of Roy Thompson Hall on this little ledge, hoping to get in to watch this movie about a month before it came out. And honestly, till this day, it's one of the best movie experiences I've ever had, because I just was so excited for that film. It's one of those films that it transcended just the movie space, and it became a popular topic based off of, a lot of not so positive things that were going on at the time, especially with all their news that this film was getting and some unfortunate threats. Come on, guys, it's a movie that the film was getting, which, you have to take very serious. So Joker 1 holds a very special place in my heart. So when I found out they're doing Joker 2, it was kind of like, for what? I thought the first Joker ended beautifully. I thought the open-endedness of it, I think I just love that about Joker 1, where I think it had a very definitive ending in my mind. And I remember leaving the theater for the very first time after watching it, and I felt so empty and like that heaviness of that movie. Those are the movies that I love, that stick with you. That's how I know I love a movie. Forward 5 years later to the sequel, Joker 2. And again, right? Let's be real. When a movie makes $1 billion, they're going to make a sequel to it. I don't think they should have, but they made a sequel to this movie. And it is what it is. It's, people forget that showbiz is also business. So here we are. Joker 2 comes out. The first trailer comes out of the movie, and the whole rumblings about it being a musical. They're going to go completely left field with this film. The first trailer comes out, and I was actually interested. I'm like, oh, okay. They might actually pull this off in a very dreamlike state, this craziness all in your mind, Arkham kind of thing. And I was kind of digging that. I only watched the first trailer. I did not watch the second one because I kind of wanted to go in blind. And I'm like, all right, let's go watch this movie for what it is. So yesterday is when I finally got a chance to watch the movie, and mildly disappointing. I didn't hate it as much as everyone seems to hate it online, and I'm really happy about that, because I would have been very hurt if I walked out of this movie hating it. And I didn't. Was disappointed? Yes, but I didn't hate the movie because there were things that I really liked in this film. So as always, let's dive right in. We'll talk about the things that I liked, the things that didn't work for me, and then lastly, who I would recommend this movie to. So the film continues right off, literally after Joker 1. Arthur is now an inmate in Arkham State Penitentiary. I believe Arkham State Hospital. I don't remember which one it was actually. And it's all about the trial of Arthur Fleck. Because in the first movie, he went off and killed, what, 5, 6 people. And now it's all about putting this person on trial for the crimes that he committed. Starts off in Arkham, and that's where we find Arthur with a lot of other inmates and a lot of the other guards and, security that takes care of Arkham. So the first like 15, 20 minutes, I really enjoyed. I actually remember turning to my brother and I'm like, hey, I actually really like this movie. I don't know what everyone's talking about. And right off the bat, Joaquin Phoenix picks up right where he left off. He crushes it as Arthur Fleck. And he just has his character down at this point. The mannerisms, the body, the skinny frame that he gets, and just the look of this character. It's so distinct. It's equally as important to the character in terms of the lines, the background. It's the physical state that Joaquin's in. And I love the opening 15, 20 minutes of this movie because it sets up that Arthur is now an inmate. He's around other inmates who kind of almost in many ways idolize him for the Joker part of what he did. Not necessarily Arthur, but the Joker is becoming this idea that's bigger than Arthur. And that's an interesting take, which is a thread that carries on throughout the movie. More on that later. And that's where he runs into Harley Quinn, which again is referred to as Lee Quinzel in the movie. So he runs into Lee in a singing group for inmates in another ward who are less violent. And that's where this little relationship begins, how Lee is obsessed with Arthur. I take that back. Lee is obsessed with the Joker. And she finds him there. They become friends. Arthur kind of finds this, amusement almost that there is this woman here who is really into me. And I'm someone who my entire life has been an outsider. People don't understand who I am. So I really liked that. I liked the dynamic that this set up between Arthur / the Joker and Lee in the first 20, 30 minutes of the movie. All right, so that's the first thing I really liked. The second thing I liked is I liked the surrounding characters in Arkham. I really loved that entire Arkham vibe because it shows you all the other inmates. They're all kind of crazy in their own way. Kind of had a, Cuckoo's Nest vibe to it a little. And I like the character of Nicky. He's kind of like Arthur's boy in the prison. The security guards, Brendan Gleeson was great in the movie, as well as the surrounding officers as well. I think they all did a good job. You find a little couple odd characters, which turn out to have a bigger part in the movie later on as you find out within that. And I just love the atmosphere of Arkham and just the vibes. It just feels like a grimy place. And that's pretty much where the setting for the first half of the movie, but also in many ways the entire movie kind of takes in. So I love that. And I also really, again, just like the first Joker, I love the cinematography. It is such a great, this movie just feels like great shots. And that's a pro and a con, because the pro of it is it's a beautiful film to watch. Absolutely beautiful. And big credit goes to Lauren Shear, who also who filmed the first film, as the director of photography, and he was back in this one. There's like shots that are just purely out of like posters, and they should be posters. And I love some of the shots, the color grading of the film. And there's just amazing just cinematography in this film. So I love that. So again, that's more so of the external make of the movie. So those were the things that I really enjoyed about the film, because I think that it sets up the mood and the tone from the first one, and then kind of adds a bit more to it with the darker grayish vibe of Arkham. So that's something that I really actually enjoyed. So then it kind of goes back to, what didn't I enjoy about this film, right? Sadly, there's a lot that just wasn't for me in this film. And I think the biggest thing was that this film is a musical. And I like musicals, don't get me wrong. But I don't think the musical numbers necessarily forward, like advance the story of this movie. They were just kind of thrown in there, and they're all kind of in Arthur's mind and Lee's mind, because both of them are crazy in love at some point in this movie, and they both want to be there for each other. And again, it's important that I make clear that Lee loves the Joker, and I'll get into that a bit later. So the musical tones, I don't know if that was a right way to go with this movie. Like, I know it's tough to make this movie again the same way as you did the first one, but in hindsight, I wish they did, because the first one was a formulaic kind of movie in terms of it was conventional, right? It had the beginning, middle, and end. This movie really took a big swing with the entire story itself, and more on that again, on that ending. Oh, that ending. Talk about a big swing. So I get it, they have to do something different, and I get if you're going to get Gaga to be in this movie, who's quite possibly one of the best vocalists, musicians, artists of a generation. I get why you want to go down this tone and why you want to go down this path. So I did like some of the musical numbers, but some of them are just kind of there. They didn't really advance the story for me at all. And then it kind of ties right into the next part, which is Lady Gaga's Lee Quinzel. I just don't think that she was used properly in this film. She's in the movie, but not nearly as much as the trailer suggests, or even the title of the movie suggests. She's kind of like this overarching character in the movie that Arthur becomes obsessed with as well. And the singing, especially in those musical numbers, I don't think Gaga's talents as this like amazing once in a generation vocalist was even utilized, because I literally remember one song from the entire movie. And you have Gaga, like, let's make this kind of like A Star Is Born. I think that's where it clashed, where maybe Todd was trying to make this into A Star Is Born in many ways by utilizing Gaga and her vocals, but then you're still in this comic book world of the Joker, and no matter how gritty and real it feels, it still just didn't have that. It just felt like two separate movies rather than one cohesive film. And I think that is where something just didn't sit well with most audiences, is they didn't know what they were getting. And this movie is not what you expect, because it was just, there was no heart in many ways to the story the same way Joker 1 had. Because Joker 1 had so much heart. You felt for this character. You felt for Arthur, that he is in this world that's just breaking him down, and the world doesn't care about people like Arthur. And in this movie, it kind of was just like, okay, this is this, now this. Kind of a continuation of the first one, but we've already been there. And at this point, we're all kind of like, okay, what's new? And I think even the things that happen in this movie almost in some ways undermine what happened in Joker 1. But I think it's important that people go into this movie where you kind of leave Joker 1 at the doors as you're entering the theater and watch this for what it is. Because the story of this film, even that didn't feel like it's just a trial the whole time, and he falls in love with Lee, she falls in love with the Joker, and it's just kind of about Arthur trying to figure out who he is. And that's really what happens in this movie, is Lee is in love with the Joker, and Arthur believes that Lee is in love with Arthur. So it kind of goes back to Arthur trying to find himself within the world that he is in. And now he has Lee in his life, who he believes loves him for who he is. And as the movie goes along, we find out that's not necessarily the case. So those things didn't really work for me. And then, like I said, we have to talk about that ending. Yeah, it's been a long, long time since I've seen a movie get absolutely shredded about something that happens in the ending. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say big credit to Todd Phillips. Not because I liked the ending, because I didn't. I'm one of those people the ending didn't work for. But the fact that he went and took a big swing with what happened in the end of this movie. And I think I see a lot of online chatter. Oh, the ending was just trying to be too, it was like trying to be too cute. And it didn't need to be what it needed to be. I get where Todd was going with this film, especially that ending. I get it. And the whole arching tone of this movie is that the Joker is an idea. The Joker isn't Arthur Fleck. The Joker is an idea for anti-government, anti-capitalism, and that the little people matter equally as much as the big people up top making all the money and who don't care about everyone else's struggle. So the Joker's an idea in this film, and that is something that looms over the entire movie from the very beginning all the way to the very end, that anyone can be the Joker. Arthur Fleck is Arthur Fleck. He's just one person who brings up the idea of the Joker into this world. And again, if you don't get into spoilers, we'll have another video. If you want to talk more about the ending and hear me talk more about the ending, we're going to have a video where we talk all about the ending of this film. So rest assured, if you want to talk about the ending, click right here. We'll get really spoilerful into that ending. And that's what this movie is at the end of the day. It's about the character and the idea of the Joker, not Arthur Fleck. So, you guys know me. I don't rank movies. I don't rate movies based off of numbers, stars, anything like that. And for those watching for the very first time, that is how I kind of do it in terms of not going down that path. The way I rank and recommend movies is based on three things. Number one, is this a movie theater movie where you have to go out and watch it on the biggest screen possible? Number two, is this a streaming movie where you can kind of wait for it to come out of theaters, watch it at home, comfort of your own home, and whatever streaming platform it eventually does come out on? Or number three, is this like a rainy day movie where you just kind of like throw it on in the background? Half the time you're not really even paying attention, you're on your phone, you kind of pause it here and there and you kind of go through with it. For me, and this sucks to say because of the love I have for that first movie, this is a streaming movie. This is not a movie theater movie because I don't think people are going to enjoy this movie in a theater because they're going to come in with expectations that are not going to be met. And when you go to a theater, you know, you got to get the popcorn, you got to get your soda, wink, wink. You got to take time out of your day. If you've got a family or if you've got young kids, got to find a babysitter. And going to the theater is an investment, right? But the biggest investment is that it's an investment of your time because that's something you do not get back. And that's why I think for a lot of people going into the theater, they're going to be very upset as this movie progresses because it is a very slow, monotone film where it doesn't have the highs and the lows and the scare factor of the first one. So I think this is a good streaming movie. When it comes out, you can watch it at the comfort of your own home, in your own space. You need to pause it at certain points, you can pause it. But I think it's in that sweet spot. Me personally, I'm a little different because I have a different perspective that I believe that all films should be watched on the biggest screen because it amplifies the viewing. But there are some amazing IMAX shots in this film. I love the score in terms of how it sounded like on the big, theater audio, speakers. So I think that there were some really great things. And I'm glad I watched it in IMAX because it definitely enhanced my viewing. But I think for the mass majority of people who are wanting to watch this film, if they even watch this film, because it's definitely a movie that's not getting good word of mouth and the box office shows because of that, I think that this would be a good streaming movie for you if you're interested in continuing Arthur's story. But what I will say is this about this movie. Go in with an open mind. Don't go in expecting Joker 1 because you're not going to get Joker 1. You're going to get the opposite of Joker 1. A complete different tone, a completely different style of movie. I'm just happy I didn't hate this movie because there's some movies that I go in with such high expectations and they just crush me and it bothers me. This movie was weird. It's kind of like lost steam after it came out and debuted at Venice. And there was like no hype about this movie versus the first one. It was so hyped. And this kind of just came and went. And that's literally me talking about opening weekend. It's already kind of gone. And it's unfortunate because I think there was a template for a great movie within what we got. But we didn't get that. And that's okay. And I hope everyone likes every movie that they watch because, time is an investment that we never get back. But I get how some people didn't like, most people did not like this movie. I completely respect that. It's not for everyone. But this kind of falls in the category because the first Joker is one of the movies I've seen the most in a movie theater. I watched that movie 4 times altogether from TIFF and 3 other times in the theater by itself. That's how much I love that first movie. And this kind of reminds me of 2 other movies that I absolutely love and adore that are on my top 5, top 10 movies of all time. That's Dumb and Dumber and Zoolander. Gosh, I know you guys were not expecting me to bring up Dumb and Dumber and Zoolander in this review. But rest assured, there is a point I'm about to make. Dumb and Dumber 1 is my all-time favorite comedy. Zoolander is one of my all-time favorite comedies. Dumb and Dumber 2, I watched 20 minutes of it and I turned it off. Zoolander 2, I did watch it in the theater and I did stay till the end. But I kind of just let it go from my memory because both of those movies were not anywhere near as good as the first and originals. And I didn't want the originals to get tainted. But at the same point, remember, you still have Joker 1. Go back and watch that if you enjoyed it. Don't let this impact your love of that. And to me, I still have Dumb and Dumber 1 and Zoolander 1. So yes, there is a sequel out there, but doesn't mean you have to go out and watch it. To me, I leave the originals as they are. And I didn't mind this movie. I thought there were some good things in this movie. I just think it was a missed opportunity. And for everyone saying, oh, did I need to make a Joker 2? Well, did I need to make any movie? Right? No movie needs to be made. But they did. And they gave it their best shot, I hope. And it just didn't work. And that's okay. Life goes on. Movies go on. And it's unfortunate that this movie's gonna be remembered for all the wrong reasons. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I enjoyed parts of it. And I'm okay with what I got. Not happy. I wish I liked it 10 times more than I did. But I'm okay with what we got. Being okay, maybe sometimes all you need for a movie like Joker 2. Because what could have been and what we got. But hey, that's life. See what I did there? Anyways, guys, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought about Joker 2. Is this a movie you enjoyed? Are you one of the fans that absolutely hated it? Comment below and please do share your thoughts. And as always, I'd greatly appreciate it if you can take 1 minute out of your day to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with friends and family. And as always, thank you all for joining us here today on Popcorn and Soda. And I'll see you next time. Take care.